when it comes to multitasking to save time, it's good for you to think of a backup plan where you plan ahead and not do things in the last minute. Because, for example, say if someone said they're going to do something, but then they change their mind and they no longer want to do it, that you have to think about all the possible outcomes that you can do so that you're not like wasting more time. And you usually know what steps to take going forward. It's just about realizing that you can either talk to someone else, you can go to a different place, but usually there is always an outcome that you can take rather than sitting there doing nothing. When it comes to multitasking, it helps to save time, and multitasking is really important to understand. It's because, say for example, you have many small tasks that you have to do. Multitasking helps to make the work more impactful. And when you multitask, you can do so many things at once. That's why it's really important that you measure your performance carefully. And multitasking can save time because you need to have priorities which you do first, and this will make the work more impactful, where you do the most important thing first and then anything else you can do later. And when I say anything else, I mean the smaller tasks which are not as impactful. And you can measure your work performance as well, or you can measure how quickly you get a task done, just so that you can figure out what is slowing you down so that you can be quicker next time, rather than doing smaller tasks, because it has your equal attention but it just slows you down and it wastes more time. This one is a more trickier thing to think about. So you can either do a task which you're good at, which is easier for you to do, and then do a difficult task, or you could do a difficult task first because it requires more time and then do an easier task. But usually it's good to see someone who is really good at the task that you want to know and then copy what they do, or you can learn what they have done and then try and look for a better way that suits you. I wanted to add as well that I keep thinking of like supermarkets, because you know how someone works on the till, someone tidies up stuff, and then also someone is able to like show customers around to where products are. Like, that's what I think about when someone says multitasking, because you're trying out different things, or in other words, you're trying out different roles. And sometimes you may be good at one thing, but you're not good at another skill. And that's what multitasking is about. It's about identifying your skills, which you can work on, so that you can do them a lot faster. And I also wanted to say that multitasking can include memory. So when I think about multitasking, I think about revising as well. Because if you can revise many different topics at once, in like an hour, for example, you realize that multitasking can include you testing your memory as well. Because you have to remember of what someone told you to do, and you have to also remember what someone said for you to do. It can motivate you, and it can motivate other people as well. Okay, and I wanted to say the key message in this video is that when it comes to multitasking to save time, it's good for you to develop as much skills as you can so that you can work in many different roles rather than just specializing in one area. But the only exception is that when you're trying to turn your hobby into like a career, I think that's the only time when you can like spend more time on one skill. And I wanted to say, when it comes to multitasking to save time, it's good for you to think of a backup plan where you plan ahead and not do things in the last minute. Because, for example, say if someone said they're going to do something, but then they change their mind and they no longer want to do it, that you have to think about all the possible outcomes that you can do so that you're not like wasting more time. And you usually know what steps to take going forward. It's just about realizing that you can either talk to someone else, you can go to a different place, but usually there is always an outcome that you can take rather than sitting there doing nothing. So in this very last example of this video, Yeah, let's say you and your friend have expectations of the restaurant you want to go to. It's good for you to read the menu before you go to that restaurant, and yeah, you will know what to expect. And then when you go to the restaurant and you know what you're going to get, your friend is more likely to go with you because you're confident that you know what's on the menu. Rather than go into a restaurant with you and your friend, you don't know what the restaurant's like, you don't know what the menu's like, and this can make your friend to change their mind because the new restaurant isn't what they expected. And if you were to go to a restaurant while talking to your friend, you were reading the menu at the restaurant, you may forget what you saw on the menu. That could be the reason why you and your friend change your mind about going to the restaurant, because this could either be that the wait is too long at the restaurant, this could be because you and your friend didn't know the menu.